and winning 3 straight until last year when the Tribe took the title.
Yeah, they're definitely the two favorites. They've been for a while, and both teams are NCAA bound, or hopefully, and have been several years, and it's going to be a great game.
All right, for William and Mary, they've gotten to the #1 seed thanks to the talented feet and broad shoulders of the CAA Player of the Year, Juan Hughes.
Yeah, he had a great sophomore year and scored a bunch of goals, and he's doing it again this year. Very, very quick player, very hard to contain.
And the guy who's going to have to try and mark him as best he can is one of the Duke's tri-captains, Kyle Swords.
Yeah, another experienced player, been 4 great years, very good athlete, and it's going to be a great matchup. I mean, we'll be watching that all day today.
All right, William and Mary won the regular season meeting between these two teams 3-0 today. The stakes are a bit higher. The CAA Soccer Championship, #1 William and Mary, #2 James Madison. The starting lineups, and we'll kick things off for you when we come back.
Once again, experts are predicting an easy winter.
For Jeep Cherokee Sport owners anyway, its 190 horsepower engine, 4-wheel drive, and anti-lock brakes turn even the harshest conditions into a day at the beach. And now get no charge air and over $1,800 in option values and cash back. Jeep Cherokee Sport, the perfect way to turn a wild winter into a mild winter.
See your Shenandoah Valley Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Wouldn't you like to go someplace where you can recharge your batteries? Someplace quiet, where even the seat knows how you like things. And close by, so you can go every day. Well, now you can. The brand new 97 DeVille by Cadillac. Lease one for only $499 a month for 36 months with a $3,100 down payment. For the time of your life.
Visit your Central Virginia Cadillac dealers today.
It was a sign, them zeros. What do they mean? 4 zeros. Then it all made sense. I was to buy me a new Mitsubishi big screen, big tube, or VCR at the big screen store. 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest, 0 till 1998. I'm obliged to my friends from above. I just wish they'd get their own Mitsubishi at the big screen store.
Next time you're looking for comfortable rooms and great rates, whether it's a fast-paced business trip or a relaxing vacation, just call 1-800 for Howard Johnson Hotels, where you'll sleep tight or it's a free night.
Welcome back to HTS coverage of the CAA Men's Soccer Championship from Brooksfield in Wilmington, North Carolina. 14-3-2, James Madison, the #2 seed. 17-2-1, William and Mary, the #1 seed in the CAA soccer tournament. We have an ideal day for college soccer as we approach 60 degrees on a sun-splashed Sunday afternoon. Let's check the starting lineup. First of all, for second-seeded James Madison under 11th year head coach Tom Martin, the doctor, has done a great job. And Sean, what a guy he's got in goal. One of their tri-captains, Barry Purcell.
Yeah, Barry's very experienced. He's been a starter for 3 years. And, you know, they've always had a great defense, James Madison, and they're always difficult to score against.
First team All-CAA standout was Barry Purcell. Top seed William and Mary, led by their legendary longtime head coach Al Albert, now in his 26th season. And he's got a freshman, a rookie of the year, Aiden Brown, in the nets.
Yeah, a real contrast to Barry Purcell. I mean, he stepped in, started right away. Extremely good athlete, great size. Does some amazing things for a freshman, but he's going to be tested today.
So there you go. That sets the stage for today's CAA Men's Soccer Championship. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the action. You see, we are underway. William and Mary looking to defend its title of a year ago. James Madison won 3 straight CAA tournament championships in 92, 93, and 94. So as we said at the outset, we really have the premier programs here today, and isn't that the way it should be, I guess?
It's the way it should be, but these teams both are used to being in championship games, both used to be in NCAA playoffs, so they're no stranger to this type of game.
And as you said at the outset, the stakes are perhaps not quite as high as they might be because both these teams figure to be in the field of 32.
Yeah, they really do, but you know, when a championship is on the line, it's for pride, it's for, you know, they both want it. It's real bad. It's good bragging rights.
And immediately we have a push just in front of us and in front of the benches as Josh Quinter gets into it for William and Mary and Jake Edwards for James Madison. Here in the first half, JMU in the dark colored jerseys going right to left and William and Mary in the light going from left to right. And we'll keep an eye on Juan Hughes of William and Mary when the Tribe gets the ball. The leading scorer in the CAA this season and the CAA Player of the Year. In fact, Sean, William and Mary dominated the postseason awards, Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and Rookie of the Year.
Well, they had, you know, several players that did well for 4 years, and when that happens, they're in everybody's mind, and it's tough to overlook them.
This is Steve Jolley, first team All-CAA standout for William and Mary at midfield. And back comes JMU. And the Dukes with an early opportunity. Jake Edwards into the box and has the ball knocked away. And we'll see who applies the early pressure here today. Yari Takatala for the Dukes. And back to the middle third of the field. James Madison looking to get control, which the Dukes do. Mark Miles, the 6-foot senior out of Potomac, one of the tri-captains of the Dukes, with the ball in his end of the field and out of the far flank for Kyle Swords, who we featured at the beginning, and really we'll keep an eye on him in his defensive matchup with Juan Hughes.
Yeah, Kyle Swords is usually a central defender, sweeper, stopper, but now they have him as a man marker because they respect Juan Hughes that much.
And there's Hughes basically touching the ball for the first time in the match. The 5'6" senior, the diminutive one. There's your officiating crew today, headed up by Jack White, all friends of Sean McDonald.
All from my area.
That's right. So we'll be nice to them again today as we were a week ago. Mark Miles in towards the goal and headed on out of there by David McGowan, the 6'2" junior from Fairfax. Hughes for William and Mary to midfield. And as we mentioned, the purple and white of JMU and the green and white of William and Mary. Of course, the Tribe official colors, green and gold, but they're wearing the white jerseys as the home team today.
Well, JMU started out real strong. They controlled the ball, got the ball in the box several times. No clear chance on goal yet.
Interesting, Tom Martin was saying this morning, Sean, that it's important not only who scores the first goal, but when that first goal is scored. So keep an eye on the clock as well. And obviously they want to keep it close. He feels as though they're the underdog here today. But the importance of that first goal, not only who gets it, but when they get it today.
Yeah, I think they're considered the underdog from results this past season because William and Mary beat him during the regular season. But, you know, again, JMU is so strong defensively and so athletic and so solid and organized that, you know, you can't count them out.
Yeah, that's what Tom was saying, is that the Dukes are certainly the more physical team, and William and Mary probably the quicker, more technically superb soccer team.
Yeah, William and Mary's got two creative midfielders that really, you know, play a nice style and you know, a little different than the JMU where they're a little stronger, more organized, you know, depend on the total team.
Wade Barrett, another of the Tribe tri-captains, 5'8" junior.
He's one of the midfielders I'm talking about. Very fast, very creative, and they use him for a lot of different things.
Right in on goal and knocked out of there and headed back towards the goal by Josh Quinter, and the save made by Barry Purcell.
Yeah, that was very dangerous. The ball kind of squirted through there in between some heads, and good initial first save to just keep it away, and then fortunately you got the second one.
The one bounce head high save.
Danny Zickerfuss got a shot off.
And now back to midfield for JMU. Kevin Knight leaves it for Costa Bornelis. And back at midfield. CAA Men's Soccer Championship just underway from Brooks Field at Wilmington. And the shot comes right on, and Aiden Brown collars it around the midsection. 6'5" freshman in the nets for William and Mary. So he can go up to the crossbar and get him, that's for sure.
They're looking forward to a great career for him to have. I mean, they just really were very impressed with his athleticism as in high school, and he's shown that he can do it at this level as well.
Now William and Mary on the tack, David McGowan. And cleared out of there by Mark Miles, but not all the way to midfield. Jake Edwards. And back to the midfield line. We've played a little more than 5 minutes of our CAA Men's Soccer Championship. No score, William and Mary and James Madison. Truly the two dominant teams in this league during the regular season. The Tribe 8-0-0 in league play, and JMU 6-1-1, only the loss to William and Mary.
Yeah, I really felt there were quite a few good teams this year in the CAA. A lot of teams had good seasons, but clearly, again, these two were the best, had the best results.
One of the areas that the Dukes maybe had a little concern, Sean, was their marathon Friday night with Richmond and just how they'd bounce back from that. 2 15-minute overtimes, and then the emotionally draining penalty kicks. Juan Hughes over the top of the net. Now, they had a day to recover from that, but you wonder a little bit both emotionally and physically, how do you bounce back?
Yeah, the day to recover is crucial, though. I mean, that at least gives them a chance to, mentally and physically get back on track. You know, sometimes when you're in a tough game, though, you're used to battling, you bring that in with you in the championship game, too. So it's not necessarily a negative, although if the game wears on and it, it's 0-0 or 1-1, it could take its toll.
At midfield and back down into the attack end for James Madison, where Michael Bada along the goal line has it for the Tribe and back to midfield.
Michael Bada, one of the seniors on William and Mary, the sweeper, really a good, tough, hard-nosed defender.
Saw a note where he played a little bit in the USISL this past year, Michael Bada for Roanoke.
Yeah, quite a few of the college players are starting to do that now, and it really gives them more quality games other than the college games that they get.
Did you get a chance to see him?
Get a chance to play against him twice, and saw him on a couple other occasions, and he did very well in that league too, scored some goals, and his quickness is just his biggest asset, no question.
Take a look there at Jeff Honeysett, the 6'4" junior from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. He had the goal against Richmond that tied the game Friday night. Honeysett did at 1-1 with 8 minutes to go, that sent it into that emotional gut check of an overtime.
Well, Richmond really had a good season. They've turned the program around quite a bit, and they had a great record this year, and they were a tough team to beat.
In fact, JMU and Richmond played about 4 hours worth of soccer in the last week with nothing really decided. They tied at Richmond the last day of the regular season, and they basically tied Friday night.
There's Al Albert, coach of William and Mary. Been there a good many years and have a great record.
Forever, I think.
And he's not that old either.
He's at least 26 because he's in his 26th year. And William and Mary, and what a splendid record he has with 309 wins. Picked up his 300th win this year in a game against American U.
A real gentleman, too, and a real good person for the soccer community in Williamsburg and the area.
And the same could be echoed for Dr. Martin in Harrisonburg with James Madison.
Two coaches with excellent reputations and just, good records behind them to prove it as well.
Al Albert was the CAA Coach of the Year this season, and Tom Martin has captured that award as well 3 times. Kyle Swords for JMU. Garrett Chittum with a nice play for the Tribe.
There's no question that JMU physically, especially in the attack, is much bigger and stronger than the William and Mary players. But the William and Mary players are quick, and they'll tackle hard. I mean, they won't give an inch.
As you were saying. Just about the first 10 minutes through of our CAA Soccer Championship match. William and Mary won the regular season game 3-0.
Hold there, Bada, hold it, Bada.
And a good crowd watched that one, better than 3,100.
Yeah, I think, for JMU, they're playing on the turf. It's a little bit of an advantage for William and Mary. It's their home field, and they're not used to playing on turf, so this will help a little bit at a nice field at UNC Wilmington.
Yep. Folks here, as we said last week, have done an outstanding job of hosting both the women's and the men's tournaments. And William and Mary looking for the sweep with their women's team winning last Sunday and the men trying to follow suit here today. CP Saivalainen for JMU in the midfield.
It's well done by Michael Bada, playing it back with, you can pass the ball with your head as long as you don't pass it back with your feet, and your goalie can handle it in that situation.
And Aiden Brown indeed comes up with it. And here comes the Tribe. Jeff Dominguez right at the midfield line. Wade Barrett loses it as Jake Edwards comes up with it for the Dukes. Savalainen on the near flank. And now Dave Mason.
No turn, come on, don't let him get it off.
Edwards trying to make a move and can't do so. Wade Barrett with a nice play, the three-time first-team All-CAA performer.
JMU is really trying to utilize a counterattack, you know, win the ball in midfield and then go forward. And, you know, their size and strength, it's a good tactic for them to utilize. Again, William and Mary not giving them the chance to turn and shoot, even though they're down in the end there.
And the ball headed out by Dave McGowan in front of the net.
Save it, save it!
And you can hear the instructions yelled to save it to midfield.
Even though that went out of bounds, that was a good clearance. They needed to get it out of the defensive third. JMU had it in there 3 or 4 times with some chances. Sooner or later, that's going to hurt you.
And here's another opportunity. Takatala with a chance to the right of the goal, centers it. The header is wide of the net to the left by Jake Edwards.
That's wide of the net. You know, not an easy ball to put in the back of the net there because doesn't have a running start. He's kind of jumping backwards, but you know, good ball right on his head at the far post.
Jake Edwards, second team All-CAA. Here's another look at his scoring opportunity.
Good job by Patrick Tierney there. Great cross right on his head. Like I say, difficult angle and a difficult ball to jump backwards and get on net.
And as you saw, it hit the side of the net. Back to the action at midfield. And again, James Madison on the attack. Here comes Jake Edwards one more time to the top of the box. The shot on goal and the diving save by Aiden Brown.
Excellent save. That ball looked like it had eyes for a while there.
Boy, he needed all of his 6'5" frame and then some to stretch out and grab that one along the turf.
Well, here's the physical matchup that Jake Edwards won the ball from the smaller defender, William and Mary, and got off a great shot. And there again, I think that the William and Mary player was looking at the referee for a call there, but it was just a shoulder charge, and JMU comes up with the ball.
So a couple of pretty good scoring opportunities here in the first 15 minutes for James Madison.
Really was. I'll be interested to see how well they match up in the box, William and Mary, with the taller Jake Edwards, you know, who's over 6 foot, and Honey said it was 6'4". So you know, we're going to keep an eye on that. That could be a factor.
So Jake Edwards has had a couple of scoring opportunities for the Dukes, and JMU looking for yet another one. Takatalo on the right flank, still with the ball as he tried to split a couple of defenders and couldn't do so.
Right now, James Madison looks good. They have control of the ball. They're pushing forward real well.
And
looks
one.
like got away with a little bit of a handball there, but inadvertent, and that's a good call, I think.
And a couple of good battles for the header, and here comes Jake Edwards one more time. Edwards, a guy who's had some problems with a foot injury the last 2 years. He missed a good portion of 95 because of it, and sometime here in 96.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with a player like that, he's a big body up there. He does some good things, but if you don't stay healthy, it's tough to really perform and be at your best. But he's having a very good year this year, as is Honeysett. And again, that matchup, I noticed they have Josh Quinter on Honeysett, who normally plays more in midfield, but he's a little bit of a taller defender than some of the other defenders William and Mary have, and they want to match those two up.
Both Honeysett and Edwards with 11 goals this season. Edwards 24 points, Honeysett 29. And as we mentioned, Honeysett was one of the heroes Friday night with the goal with 8 minutes to go to tie Richmond and send it to overtime.
Well, they both came in at the same time. They're both juniors, and they're used to playing with each other, so that's a good combination that JMU has up front.
And again, Madison continues as the aggressor through the first 15 minutes of play.
Good work, Woody.
And we really haven't called Juan Hughes' name at all yet, and that's got to bode well for Tom Martin and his team.
It is. He's only touched the ball a few times, but basically what happens is, you know, JMU is keeping the pressure on. They're making it very difficult for William & Mary to clear the ball out and constantly getting possession back again. William & Mary really has not gotten their game going, but it's very, very early, and things will open up as the game wears on.
Perhaps now Hughes with an opportunity, coming right in on goal, and coming out is Barry Purcell to smother it.
That was an excellent pass by Juan Hughes. Not only is he a goal scorer, but he is a pretty decent playmaker in his own right. And that's where William & Mary, with the midfielders of Wade Barrett, Jeff Dominguez, and Steve Jolley, they can come through at any time and score a goal themselves. So it's a, you know, even though things looked like JMU had it in hand, you can never tell.
Yeah, you're right about Juan Hughes. Not only is he William & Mary's all-time leading goal scorer, but he's third all-time in assists, and obviously first in points.
And that's outstanding, because that doesn't happen too often. Somebody that scores, you know, every year with that many goals and is the leading goal scorer almost every year, it's unusual that they also have that many assists.
Yeah, you don't give it up very often when you've got an opportunity.
Now, usually those players are unselfish, but Juan really isn't.
And again, here comes Edwards, but two defenders there to mark him, and back towards midfield. Bornelis for the Dukes, and back in on goal where Brown will come up with it. Told you Aiden Brown was the Rookie of the Year in the CAA, goals against average of 0.73.
He really deserves it. They had a great year. And, you know, when a freshman comes in, you're never quite sure how they're going to adjust to the next level. And you know, his athletic ability has really, you know, helped him tremendously.
You might think pretty good recruiting job by William & Mary to get a kid from Pleasant Valley, California to come play in Williamsburg, but he knew something about William & Mary. His dad played football.
Yeah, you know, it's funny how the connections occur like that, and there's no question that, you know, I don't think anybody else on the East Coast really was recruiting Aiden.
And as we said, there's some bloodlines there that bleed green and gold. No score, as you see, upper left-hand corner, the time and score. Proud to bring you our commercial-free coverage of the CAA Men's Soccer Championship, along with Sean McDonald, Bob Black with you, and our entire HTS crew.
Well, you know, talking about the defensive matchups for William & Mary, even though they're much smaller in size and stature, their goalkeeper is not. and if he plays well in the air like that, then it's going to be difficult for them to score in the air.
Now that's a pretty obvious advantage, isn't it, to be 6'5" and a goalie, but you don't see that many of them with that kind of stature.
No, you really don't. I mean, unfortunately, I think in the U.S. they're either playing football or basketball, but you know, that size factor, as long as he makes good decisions, times the ball well, and reads the ball in the air well, that is a tremendous advantage.
And we actually saw where it paid dividends earlier when he went diving for a shot, because he was able to stretch out a little bit further on a ball along the turf.
There's no question he's quick for a tall player.
And now William & Mary will try and gather the troops and get something going offensively.
His counterpart, Barry Purcell, has got also good size, not, you know, particularly real tall, but again, a good size for a goalie. He's very, very good in the air. And again, the experience, we'll see how the difference is with the experience in a close game like this, if that makes a difference.
Josh Quinter at midfield to Wade Barrett, a couple of the tri-captains for William & Mary. Barry Purcell, as we said, had an outstanding year as well. He was first team All-CAA. In the nets for JMU. And now the try, penetrating and a shot over goal.
I believe that was Michael Bada coming up from the defensive position. William & Mary is not used to really not getting to control things, and right now JMU has got the better of possession. But again, William & Mary is strange on the attack. Here's the last attempt, the sweeper coming up with a good dribbling situation, and he strikes it well, but over the top of the net.
Still scoreless with about 25.5 minutes to go here in half number 1 of the CAA Men's Soccer Championship. Madison's had a couple of scoring opportunities, and as Sean just said, William & Mary struggling to come up with really their first or second legitimate opportunity. They've had one.
It was a dangerous play at midfield there, just a foot up around the chest.
And we'll get our first substitution of the match as Mike Brizendine, a 6-foot sophomore from McLean, comes into the contest for the Dukes, and Jake Edwards, who did a real nice job in the offensive third, comes out.
Well, there's not a big difference there when they bring somebody like that off the bench who scored some key goals for them. You know, again, good size. You know, pretty much in the same mold as the other two players up front.
And again, Madison looking to mount an attack. Bornelis at midfield to the far side to Kyle Swords. And Swords towards the top of the box, headed back out of there by Garrett Cheatham. Takatalo on the right side, into the middle of the field. Dave Mason tried to get the one-time kick away and couldn't.
Blocked by Dave McGowan. You know, you can see that JMU is definitely relying on, you know, serving the balls from the flanks, hanging them up in the air, and letting those tall players up there try to deal with them.
Steve Jolley, the tri-captain, and he's been an all CAA performer, either first or second team all 4 of his years.
Very impressed with JMU's defense, again, in midfield as well as back in the defensive end. They're really, it's very congested right now, and it's partially because they're marking up tight, not giving a lot of time and space, not letting William & Mary get in their rhythm.
See what the Tribe can do here. Barrett in on goal, and Purcell makes the head-high grab. Barry Purcell, second in the CAA in goaltending during the regular season. He was the MVP of this tournament 2 years ago, back in '94 when the Dukes won it.
There's a free kick by Wade Barrett. He's really trying to serve it in the box for one of his other players, although no one could get on the end of that.
And play continues at midfield. Again, JMU looking to come on the attack. CP Saivalainen in on goal and right to Brown.
Well, as you mentioned, Bob, earlier, the fact that JMU had a very difficult game in the semifinal, we'll see that shouldn't play a factor in the first half, maybe in the second half, but right now they look physically strong. You know, they're keeping the pressure on, but let's see if they can do it all game, and let's see if William & Mary can not take advantage of the fact that maybe they will be tired in the second half.
And you got to believe they're playing on some of that adrenaline from Friday night that is carried over, but I think most coaches will tell you that the emotion and the adrenaline lasts about 10, 15, 20 minutes into a match, and then, you know, the match settles down into just the two teams and who's going to win.
Right, and again, we talked a little bit last week when the women's finals, the win was really a tremendous factor. Here, the win is a factor. Right now, it's in JMU's favor. Hopefully, they can make it work for them, but it's not such a big win factor that it'll make a tremendous difference, but it is an advantage right now. They do have the win going at their back.
On an otherwise picturesque day here in Wilmington, as you watch our commercial-free coverage of the CAA Men's Soccer Championship, brought to you by Kellogg's, our proud sponsor of both the men's and women's CAA Soccer Championship on HTS. No score in our game with 22 minutes to go here in the first half. And again, it's been played primarily in Madison's offensive third of the field. And the Dukes trying one more time to get something going. Bornelis. And back to midfield. In on goal and headed out of there by David McGowan, the junior from Fairfax, in the corner.
David McGowan's had a real good year. It looks like JMU will get that call. Trip from behind by McGowan.
And he's had a good tournament. He had a goal and an assist in the semifinal win over George Mason, and he had an assist in the victory over Wilmington Thursday. But now another opportunity for JMU. Into the middle of the field.
Well, that was unfortunate. They pushed, it looks like they pushed Josh Quinter down for William & Mary, but they had some excellent runs at the back post from those tall players. That's going to be dangerous. And even though, you know, the goalkeeper for William & Mary's got some height on him, that's going to be tough to stop.
Take another look.
Second ball, White.
There's the ball served in towards the back post, and obviously there's a push. Somebody goes flying, or it was excellent acting.
Or maybe a little of both. And JMU can't control at midfield. But the Dukes continue to maintain the pressure. The early numbers on the fouls: Madison with 6, William & Mary 4.
Good work, Bonnie. Good work.
They're pretty even. Right now, I'd say it's a fairly clean game. I mean, it's good to see that. I mean, both teams are trying to play the game. They're marking tight and restricting space, but not really.
Kevin Knight with the ball right along the goal line and off the top of the crossbar.
Boy, again, when the ball goes to the far post, just beyond the goalkeeper there, it's such a dangerous area for defenders, because what do you do with that? If you try to clear it, it's very difficult. If you knock it out of bounds, you give the team a corner kick. Maybe in that case, they should have knocked the ball out of bounds and given a corner kick, because his clearance kept the ball alive.
And it hits
the crossbar, but hits the top of the crossbar. I mean, it was a good chance.
Jari Takatala had the opportunity, but as we said, it hit the top portion of the crossbar, not the face. And while it was close, maybe not as close as it appeared at initial look, but no question, it had an opportunity. Mike Brizendine touching the ball for the first time since he came in. He was one of the heroes Friday night. He had the eventual game-winning penalty kick that ended that marathon against Richmond.
Well, those penalty kick deals are always exciting. It's a lot of coaches and people, really don't like to determine a game that way, but they have to find some way to get a result.
And they almost didn't with that.
And move on to the finals. They went in the 9-8.
9-8. Wow, they almost went around for the second time. At midfield, Wade Barrett for William and Mary.
CP, find one.
And the Tribe trying to mount an offensive attack.
Not too soon, honey. Up with Umesh! Up with Umesh! There you go. Up with Umesh!
Yeah, you can hear both benches screaming instructions to their players.
Yeah, right now, I think, JMU wants to make sure that they match up well and continue to win the game and put pressure on. They really feel that pressure is going to pay off if they can continue to do it.
Kyle Swords taking down Wade Barrett.
Well done,
Juan Hughes on the left side.
One on your back.
Takatala for JMU. Ahead for Jeff Honeysett, left side. Looking to make a move. Can't do so. CP Saivalainen.
What JMU is starting to do well is send some balls out to the flank, change of fields balls, and really open this game up a little bit. And it's a good tactic on their part.
Jeff Honeysett with the arms outspread as if to say, what, me? And he's getting an earful, yes, you.
A little conversation with the official there.
A little conversation, huh? Exchanging pleasantries?
Exactly. A little information exchange there.
Jeff Honeysett, as we said, it had a good year. 7th in the CAA during the regular season in scoring. And second team all CAA standout.
We talk about the size up front for JMU, but they also got good size in the midfield with Sivi Saivalainen winning head balls there and keeping the pressure on.
Steve Jolley to Josh Quinter. Quinter centering and cleared out. Juan Hughes battling, trying to make a move or a pass. Boy, look at that by Juan Hughes. How did he ever get that shot off?
Again, he's so quick, so dangerous. He just keeps coming up with the ball after it looked like the ball was tackled away 3 times. And, again, the difference in speed, definitely William & Mary has the edge in quickness and pace. Here's it right here. As you see, that they step up a tackle, and the smaller Juan Hughes keeps coming up with it, probably because he's got the quick feet. And that ball's dangerous because the goalie could, sometimes his vision is blocked on those, and they slip by.
Boy, he had just about everybody draped all over him, and he still got away. As you said, a pretty dangerous shot on Barry Purcell.
And Juan Hughes just fouled from behind there. I think they're doing an excellent job on him of not really giving him space, and that's crucial. But a guy that's as quick as he is, he could not do much for a long time, and all of a sudden, boom, he's in behind you. And that's, he scores his goals mainly off good through passes by the midfielders who are excellent for William & Mary, where he gets in behind defenses.
Good.
Juan Hughes really rebounded this year in some ways. Sean, 95, I'm sure wasn't up to his expectations. Got off to that slow start. Finished up very strong, had a goal in the championship game against George Mason and one in the NCAAs against Creighton. But what a year he's had this season. Curry Antonsen into the game now for JMU, the freshman out of Iceland. Number 18, replacing Bornelis, Costa Bornelis for JMU. They have gone with the foreign flair, haven't they?
They definitely have some good foreign players that, and from some of the same countries year after year. Finland, they've gotten some good players the last 5 or 6 years. And I think, what Tom is trying to do now is save some legs and some of his younger players, figuring that he'll definitely need them throughout the game.
Dave Mason with an opportunity towards the top of the box, but William and Mary clears onto the near side. Dan Zickenfuss has it taken from behind. Nice play by Mason.
JMU does have a pretty deep bench. You know, they have good players that have had experience that, you know, maybe aren't starting for them. And William and Mary will pretty much go with their starting 11 and sub maybe later on in the game.
Now that has been a formula for success for Al Albert. Certainly can't argue with 17-2-1. They're a victory away from matching their school record for the 3rd straight year of 18 wins.
And basically his lineup hasn't changed all that much from the beginning of the year, and that's terrific when that can occur like that with maybe a lack of injuries and good chemistry, and you like what you have, so you don't have to go changing things around.
He did lose a bunch to graduation last year, but obviously had a lot of depth in the program.
Yeah, had good players coming back, but did lose some. Oh, good shot right there. You know, Aiden Brown just punched the ball, and what a lot of goalies don't do, and this is for young goalkeepers, you know, when you do punch the ball, you need to follow through and make sure it gets out there and out of the defensive third. And he did a good job. It went, you know, well into midfield.
Dave Mason, you're right, with a good shot right on.
But again, you know, JMU collects it, comes back at him again, and keeps the pressure on.
And just as we say, the Tribe doesn't substitute very often. They go to the bench for the first time. Gabe Valencia, the freshman out of Chesapeake, Virginia, a Sweden native, is into the game.
Yeah, I should qualify that. Gabe Garcia started off and on for William and Mary, as Danny Zickenfuss has. Danny Zickenfuss with a little bit more experience, but Gabe has done a good job for them. He gives them a physical presence up top, very much like what JMU has.
So the first substitution of the game for William and Mary with about 13.5 minutes to go here in a scoreless first half, although there has been good action primarily from James Madison's offensive attack. And a couple of threats by William and Mary, but nothing finding the net at either end yet.
The game really hasn't opened up yet, and a lot of JMU's chances is coming off of you know, winning the ball, off of clearances that don't quite make it, coming back at him, serving the ball in the box, and putting the goalie and the defense under pressure.
And again, the Dukes looking to apply some pressure.
Good way.
Wade Barrett, though, with the near interception, and on the near flank, here's Valencia with the ball. And now to Barrett. The junior out of Virginia Beach, Wade Barrett. He had a goal against Madison during the regular season. Down to 12.5 minutes to go. That's Hughes on the far side. And now Mark Miles. I think that's that plane that you landed on, taking back off.
Well, it's nice to finally get here, taking two planes and both planes being late.
You're not kidding, pal. It was nice for you to get here. Sean, what were you on business in where, Atlanta?
We had business meetings with our league. The USISL is a second division professional league, and the meetings actually are still going on as I speak and should be over in a few hours.
Hold it, ref!
It's always an adventure flying out of Atlanta.
It is, but you know, love to be here at games like this and watching good college soccer, good prospects, good players.
Here comes an opportunity. Wade Barrett for William and Mary to the left of the goal.
And that's where William and Mary is going to be dangerous, with those midfielders kind of slashing through with the ball, without the ball, and good ability, good skill. And right there, you know, Barry Purcell came out, was out of his goal. Unfortunately, the ball was cleared. And here's the replay on that. Again, Wade Barrett slashing through on the sideline, sending the ball dangerously across. And it does strike a defender.
And back to the action we go, back to midfield as Barrett keeps it in the offensive attack zone for the Tribe, going left to right. William and Mary in the light-colored uniforms.
As Wade Barrett again on the left flank, really making some things happen.
Centering, looking for Juan Hughes, and they couldn't get him the ball, much to his dismay.
And the difference in the what William and Mary is doing is penetrating to the end line, getting in closer to goal, and sending a low-driven ball across, which is very, very dangerous. JMU has been more or less pumping balls in the air in the box due to the fact that they have the size advantage.
Here comes the corner kick for the Tribe. Hughes tries to go up to head it, but can't get up there to grab it.
And that was cleared by a defender, even though the goalkeeper went after it. So again, that's a good bending, dangerous ball.
William and Mary keeps possession at midfield. The Tribe with the two corner kicks thus far in the match. unable to convert on either one yet.
The last few minutes, though, they've been real dangerous on that left side, and I think that's maybe what they're going to have to do is take JMU, spread them out, and get them out in the flank where there's a little more space where they can use that quickness. Because down the middle, JMU has been tough. They just bottled it up, and they've really, come through with good tackles and constantly winning the ball.
Juan Hughes coming into the match needing 1 point to tie for the William & Mary single season record. Obviously, a goal would give him that record. John McManus, 54 points in 1980, and Juan at the moment with 53, 21 goals, 11 assists.
Well, he's going to work for it to get it today because they're really all over his back, but legally. And again, not a lot of fouls and not really any ugly or hard play. Just good, solid defending and challenging for balls, and that's the way it should be played.
Again, the Tribe coming on the attack on the near side. Valencia can't save it on the sideline. You're talking about Juan Hughes and the defensive blanket they've draped over him. Is it a case where you say, don't let him beat us? If somebody else beats us, well, we'll deal with that, but don't let him do it.
Yeah, when you look at the statistics, and there's one player that's clearly, been their goal scorer, and you have to say as a coach, look, if we can keep him and blank him, then we have a much better chance of winning. But it doesn't always work that way, especially when you have talented midfielders and other talented players for William & Mary. But no question, he's been the go-to guy, and he's been their key player.
And as you made the fine point earlier, he's also high up there in assists, which means if that's happening to him, he's going to find the open man.
Well, I think he's an intelligent player. He's grown in that area tremendously, and I think he knows when he can take it himself, and he knows when he should dish it off.
Kevin Knight with the opportunity for James Madison, the two-time second-team All-CAA standout, sophomore from Fairfax. And that'll be a throw-in for William & Mary.
A lot of good, both Virginia State schools, a lot of good Virginia talent out there. Both schools heavily recruit from within the state. A lot of these guys play against each other, play with each other in club ball and high school ball, and now they're against each other.
Well, does this become a recruiting war as well as bragging rights today?
There's no question. I think, UVA obviously gets some good homegrown talent too, but these two schools have always done an excellent job in recruiting and getting the best players out of Virginia.
And as we surmised, and not going too far out on a limb, both of them should still be playing soccer after today. Both ranked in the top 20.
They really should be. Along with UVA, these three teams have done have had excellent seasons the last 3 or 4 years, not just this past year.
And of course, the CAA hoping perhaps they'll get a third team. George Mason has been ranked at times this season and could have an opportunity as well. And the CAA very pleased that 3 of the women's teams made it.
The CAA is a good, strong conference right now, and George Mason, speaking about that, and they upset Virginia and gave them their first loss of the season and beat them pretty handily. I believe it was 3-0. And, so that obviously is going to weigh in the playoff considerations.
The 32-team field includes 12 automatic berths. There'll be 4 play-ins amongst 8 conferences, and then the 16 at-large berths. And of course, it all wraps up with the CAA and the University of Richmond hosting the national championship at University of Richmond Stadium in December. Here comes Dave Mason for James Madison to the top of the box and out of the right side for Brizendine, who will look to center high above the goal and over the end line.
That was difficult. Brizendine let it run, and then with the wind factor trying to serve it across. But the game is starting to open up just a little bit as it winds down to about 6 minutes left.
Here you get a good look at the JMU exchange. Trevor Hurst into the game, a 5'10" junior from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Jeff Honeysett, and again, I think just trying to give some people a little bit of a rest, get some fresh legs in there because they know they had a tough game on Friday. But again, good players on JMU. Trevor Hurst was a teammate of Jeff Honeysett in club ball in high school, and a good player in his own right, getting a chance.
Let it roll, let it roll.
There's Brizendine racing after it, but can't get there. As we move under 6 minutes now to go here in the first half, we are scoreless. The Dukes have had a couple of opportunities. Probably you would say that they've been a little more the aggressor, although as you mentioned, Sean, it is now starting to even out and open up.
Starting to open up, and again, William & Mary's speed and pace, you're not going to be able to contain them. They're going to find a way to get through.
Here comes an opportunity for the Tribe. Dave McGowan looking for Hughes on the far side. Hughes at the top of the box. Still with the ball, and 3 purple shirts right there. But it's still Juan Hughes. Look at this, Juan Hughes. Oh, what a save by Barry Purcell.
You know, there again, Juan Hughes, I mean, they're coming in with these hard tackles, but he keeps coming up with the ball. You know, again, credit to his ability and his quickness to
just split the defense and got a hard shot off, and Purcell dives to kick it out of harm's way.
Yeah, he made pretty much a foot save on that, but he came out real nicely to cut down the angle and made a good reaction to save it.
And the 3rd corner kick for William and Mary, but unable to get a shot off.
Well, that was the best chance that Juan Hughes had right there, because he was point blank 5 yards away from the goalkeeper. And, you know, you're working so hard to get the shot off that it's not all that easy to just put it where you want to.
And back to midfield, yeah.
But if Barry Purcell didn't step up and cut down that angle, that would have been a goal.
And now JMU looking for another opportunity. And that'll go over the top of the net and out of play. Boy, Juan Hughes, that's really something to see him go through a double team like that. And as you say, even a 3rd player coming over.
You know, again, it's good physical defenders, but again, you know, like I said, he could be quiet for a long time, and all of a sudden, boom, he's through with that speed. And you can never, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. You can't read it sometimes, and it's just, he's difficult.
And at midfield, hitting the turf hard is Steve Jolley, as he took quite a hit.
Yeah, you know, competing for the air balls, you know, Steve went up straight, and the defender for JMU didn't.
And Jolley looked like he wanted to try and get up, and then was just in so much pain that immediately he couldn't. And now he's going to try and shake it off. Tough kid.
Here's a replay of that, and we'll see if it's hard to see from that angle, but he might have got a good hip in the back, or a little bit of a knee or elbow in the back, and that, you know, that stings for a bit. He should be okay though.
And he'll try and walk it off, and they need him out there. There's no doubt about that. He's been one of their more prolific goal scorers.
Very dangerous player, good playmaker, very creative, and kind of you know, can make something out of nothing like a few other players on William & Mary.
He's had a goal in each of the first 2 matches in this CAA tournament, one against Wilmington, one against George Mason. Former CAA Rookie of the Year, Steve Jolley out of Virginia Beach. And Purcell goes up, makes a nice grab, and boy, did he hit the grass hard.
Well, both goalies, when they're going to come out in those situations, they're going to be challenged. You know, both teams are going to want to cause some problems there, but Barry did a good job to hang on to that. Here's a replay. The ball's hung up, one of the few balls that William & Mary hung up there.
And Purcell comes out, leaps, and then, as we said, went down hard. That would have been dangerous if the ball jarred loose.
And, you know, you have to challenge Gabe Garcia, a little taller than the other forwards for William & Mary. He went up there with him, but you have to challenge that. But the key is that he times it well and he hangs on to it.
Run with 12!
We approach the 2-minute mark here in the first half. William & Mary starting to become more of the aggressor. But not that time. Back in on goal, where Aiden Brown will come up with it.
Well, another player for William & Mary, Jeff Dominguez, has done well in midfield for them. I've mentioned Wade Barrett and Steve Jolley, we both have, but he's, you know, a little younger player, but he's really kind of fit in nicely with those 2 players, and they have a real solid midfield. Maybe one of the best in the country as far as you know, players that play well together and can score and can do it all.
And again, the Dukes trying to come in on goal, can't do so on the far side. But they will still have an opportunity with under 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd like to come out of this half with a goal, but, you know, I'm not so sure this is going to be the type of game where, you know, the slight win factor is going to make that much of a difference. I think it's going to be a good, tight game like this.
You mentioned the wind factor earlier. It has been blowing from right to left. It has been in JMU's favor here in the first half. Not quite as breezy as it was last week, where it really played into William & Mary's favor for the women in the first half.
No, it had a tremendous outcome in that game, and then, you know, to try to defend against that win is very, very difficult.
Turn your aid.
And William & Mary looking for perhaps one final run here before halftime. Barrett at midfield. Down to about 50 seconds as you see it, a scoreless first half. Mason hustling after it, but can't get there for JMU.
Well read by the sweeper, Mike Bada, just to cut that counter.
And and Steve Jolley doing some pushing and shoving with Kerry Antonson in front of the JMU bench, and tempers flare.
We'll see what the referees have to say about this. For the first time, people got a little upset with a little shoving, a little carried away with it.
And he's going to give the two of them a talking to. And go ahead, Sean.
Fortunately, I mean, no punches were thrown. There was some shoves. It may have looked a little worse than it was, but you know, Jack White's a very experienced official. What he's going to do in a championship game, he's going to say, if you guys don't calm down, the cards will start flying, but I'm going to give you a chance to calm down. And halftime is coming up soon too, so they'll.
And the two of them shook hands, although neither one of them did it with any great enthusiasm.
Neither of them really wanted to.
It was almost like your dad saying, shake hands with your brother, or you're going to your room.
Well, Steve Jolley might be a little frustrated from getting hit in the back a little early in midfield, and you know, so then he did a little shoving himself there because that was his foul.
And now cooler heads. Well, the whistle blows. I was going to say cooler heads will prevail at halftime, which is just about where we're at. And they'll pick it back up in the second half. And there you go. So a very physical first half of soccer comes to a close with William and Mary, the #1 seed, and James Madison, the #2 seed, scoreless at the break.
Pretty even game so far, and I'd like to see the stats and see how that kind of pans out, but neither team getting a tremendous advantage here, except a little bit more on JMU's side as far as possession and pressure.
So the Dukes of JMU, the #2 seed, trying to knock off William and Mary here in the championship game of our CAA tournament. As we said, James Madison with the aggressive play early on, and then it kind of opened up, and William and Mary at the end of the first half had some opportunities. Al Albert, the head coach of the Tribe, has joined us briefly for a couple of quick halftime comments. Al, what about that? Your impressions of the first half? It appeared as though James Madison was the aggressor early on in that first half, and then you were able to gain some control as the half moved along.
Well, right. I thought in the very beginning we had good control, and then in the middle of the period we kind of lost it and got it back a little bit at the end. But it's going to be a battle the whole way, and you know, no one can control 90 minutes of a match, and we had our moments, and it's really going to come down to, you know, who can create a goal.
Yeah, what do you think? You know, we were just noticing up here, Juan Yu is a couple times. I mean, they're right on his back. They give him no space at all, but he's amazing. He keeps coming up with the ball in the box. And, you know, what do you think of his play so far?
Well, Juan is that type of player that can be the difference in a close game, can be a 1-0 game, and he gets the goal. You saw a couple of instances where he created a chance out of nothing, and he's done that for us all year long.
Al, thank you very much. Appreciate you stopping by at halftime. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks a lot.
Good luck, Al.
Al Albert, the veteran head coach of the William and Mary Tribe, and his team and James Madison are battling, literally battling. In the first half, they have fought to a 0-0 halftime tie in Wilmington, the CAA Kellogg's Men's Soccer Championship.
I think the official, Jack White, said after what happened at the end of the first half, let's not let it get out of hand. Let's make a statement right now. Enough talking. And I'm not sure he really meant to foul, but he ran up the guy's back. You got to be careful.
Yeah, he sure did. And that it at least appeared like it picked up right where it left off from the second half, and the officials will call it a little tighter, perhaps. And an opportunity right at the goal. Barry Purcell knocking it out of there.
Looks like Steve Jolley on the ground. That was an excellent served ball by Michael Bada from midfield, driven. And that caused some problems right there because Steve Jolley had a chance to connect on it. Barry Purcell couldn't quite get to it. Here's a replay. Ball served by Mike Bada. It's off the head of a player, and I couldn't see who. And you see there, actually, Jolley missed it. He had a chance to get a strike on goal, but I think Barry Purcell had it covered, and a little slight collision after that.
Boy, it's been a tough day at the office for Steve Jolley.
It really has. He's walking around like I do sometimes.
And he keeps on going. He had the knockdown in the first half, and he a little bit bruised after that play here early in the second half.
Well, he's a good athlete. You just saw that. He's got great timing in the air, good leaping ability, and you know he can you know, get up the air and match up with those taller players in midfield.
Jeff Dominguez with the back pass nearly behind Josh Quinter, but he's got it and back to midfield. And we'll see if William and Mary can start the second half by picking it up as James Madison did in the first half, although with no goals.
Well, both defenses have played well, and you know, there's been some decent chances, and both goalkeepers have come up and done what they had to do so far.
And again, the whistle comes, this time the foul on William and Mary.
Well, some fouls right off the bat to open things up, so maybe this game is changing a little bit.
Yep. And another whistle, and again, the tempers start to flare a little bit. As Nelson Warley for William and Mary. And again, Yari Takatala for JMU. Here's the end of that play.
Both players are shoving each other, but so the action when they're on the ground, you got to be careful, especially with Yari, number 14 for JMU. He's already got a yellow card, so he's got to be extra careful.
Throw in for William and Mary, Jeff Dominguez.
It could be a little sign of fatigue, you know, playing 3 games in 4 days, and you know, as the game wears on, it just you seem to get into those shoving matches a little bit more. Maybe the legs aren't there.
Play continuing at midfield. And the throw in for the Tribe, Garrett Chittum, the freshman out of Mechanicsville, Virginia. On the left flank, Nelson Warley, and into the center of the field, Wade Barrett. And again, the ever-present Yari Takatala.
I'll give him credit defensively. He's right on the ball. He's not giving any space at all. But that's what William and Mary has to start doing, is knocking it around and playing the ball quicker like that, and then getting the ball wide and using that speed.
Yeah, their quickness and their speed, Tom Martin had said this morning, is what really concerns him. Ready to go! What a great header for the first goal of the game for William and Mary.
That's the freshman, Gabe Valencia.
Yeah. Boy, that came out of nowhere, and Valencia, with his 5th goal of the year, goes high in the air and heads it home.
Well, you know, that was an excellent throw-in by William and Mary. I mean, the ball was really put right in a very dangerous spot. Valencia gets up over the defenders, and really, you know, Barrett Purcell, if he's going to stay in his goal on something like that, he's not going to get that shot.
Well, all the talk about guys like Juan Hughes and Steve Jolley and Wade Barrett. And
there's the replay again. He just outruns a player and puts the ball in the back of the net on a high shot over the goalkeeper.
And there's your hero at the moment for the Tribe.
And that's what it gives William and Mary, that little athleticism up there, that size factor that the other players don't give. And that was a difference on that. That was an excellent play on his part. Well set up play.
Valencia, Sweden native out of Chesapeake, Virginia, with the first goal of the match. And now an opportunity at the other end, and Aiden Brown comes diving out to grab it.
Those balls placed about 12 yards in front of the goalkeeper like that. He's got to make a good, quick decision. If he doesn't, it becomes very, very dangerous.
So it's 1-0 William and Mary in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Remember, we talked at the outset about Tom Martin talking about not only important who got the first goal, but when. I'm not so sure how 5 minutes into the second half factors into the equation.
Well, I think, you know, what it does now is it puts a little bit more urgency into the game at JMU to get a result. You know, so it actually should pick up the pace a little bit, open the game up and make it a little bit more exciting.
And back comes the Tribe again. Nelson Warley on the left side. Can't make the pass. And back come the Dukes. JMU had several opportunities in that first half and couldn't capitalize.
Well, again, I think JMU is controlling the ball well, but William and Mary is getting some of the more dangerous chances. And I think JMU is really going to look to counter. They're going to look to win the ball defensively at their strength and go with a good quality counter and score that way.
Juan Hughes with a nice move in midfield.
Because even though they're possessing the ball, they don't seem to be getting enough off of that right now. So I think they're going to just keep looking for that counter and to get a quick strike back.
1-0 William and Mary on the Valencia goal. Just about 5 minutes into this second half. It certainly bodes well for William and Mary. Boy, the Tribe in the CAA tournament, when George Mason scored the other day, it was the first goal they'd given up in 2 years in this tournament.
Well, they had an excellent tournament last year. You know, really had a nice run at the end of the year. And I think, you know, there was some question marks about the defense because they lost some good players back there, but they really have come on strongly, especially with their goalkeeper. That really it's been a nice
They lost
surprise.
Paul Grafer, the All-American, in goal, who was the MVP of the tournament last year with 3 shutouts.
That's right, he's playing professionally now, signed by a Major League Soccer team.
And again, a good job by the Tribe to get it on out of there.
Lurch away, lurch away. Outside, outside. Good.
William and Mary along the goal line, David McGowan. And back to midfield, Mark Miles.
And the game is opening up a bit. JMU is trying to open up the game by hitting some longer balls out to the flank, which is a good idea. Stretch the defense out a little bit.
Juan Hughes on the far side at midfield. Looks to make a move. And can't do so.
That's an odd matchup. Sivi Savalainen on little Juan Hughes, but he came up with the ball at the time defensively for JMU.
Pass intercepted by Barrett at midfield. Jeff Dominguez for William and Mary. Comes up with it.
William and Mary starting to pick up their midfield play as far as winning balls and controlling things there, because JMU had the better of that in the first half.
You can almost sense the Tribe quickness starting to pick up a little bit.
Well, I think, too, that goal has really kind of changed the complexion of the game. No longer is it a game where both teams can just play, feel each other out, and see what happens. Now it's William and Mary wants to get another one to try to put this thing away, and JMU actually wants to come back.
Yep.
Need to come back.
Barrett had an opportunity to the left of the box, couldn't do anything with it. Juan Hughes on the far side to Dave McGowan, who tries to center it, and it's knocked over the end line and will get a corner kick.
Yeah, Juan Hughes' quickness again caused problems for JMU, and he just kept the ball alive there. And not so much is he a scoring threat, which he is, but he does a lot of other nice things to complement that side of his game.
And now the corner kick. Barrett will take it for William and Mary.
First time out, boys. Have it out!
And it's headed back out of there.
Yeah, that's not quite what Wade Barrett wanted to do on that one. He usually does a good job of bending the ball into the goal mouth.
Had an opportunity. Closing in was Juan Hughes, but they couldn't get to the ball right in front of the net.
Again, Steve Jowler's ability in the air. He got over Honeysett, who's a lot taller, and kept the ball alive.
And now they'll attempt the corner from the other side. Giving William and Mary another opportunity. And headed on out of there, and they'll try again.
Hey, William and Mary's tactically what they like to do here on corner kicks is bend the ball into the goal mouth and cause problems for the goalkeeper. And a lot of times you do get more corners out of that because it's difficult defensively to deal with.
Here comes the second one. In front of the goal and over the end line again.
Good job. First one went near post, second one went far post, and both, both dangerous.
And now James Madison will look to go back on the attack again. Just about 10 minutes into the second half as you see time and score, upper left-hand corner of your screen. First goal of the game from the freshman, Gabe Valencia, about 5 minutes into the second half.
There's still plenty of time left. No reason to really be tremendously concerned for either team, but I think JMU does have to get the game back a little bit and get on track and get some good opportunities to pick up their confidence and get going.
You saw the corner kicks, 5 of them now for the Tribe, none for JMU. And William and Mary with them back-to-back just a couple of moments ago, but couldn't muster anything out of them. And that headed over the sideline by Jeff Dominguez. As Madison looks to pressure and can't do so.
Yeah, William and Mary has picked up their game, even defensively too. You're right. They seem that quickness seems to be more of a factor this half, and they really seem to, that goal sparked them.
And you wonder how much of it is the goal, how much of it is the quickness, how much of it is Madison getting a little leg weary, perhaps. Maybe not. As you said, the day off should recharge the batteries pretty good.
Well, it does, but when you're playing a much quicker team, then just a little bit of tiredness and slowness in the legs can be a problem.
Josh Quinter for William and Mary. Took CAA Player of the Week honors earlier this year. And as we mentioned, the Tribe swept through the postseason awards with Coach, Player, and Rookie of the Year en route to the 17-2-1 season. They came into the match ranked 5th in the nation by Soccer America and JMU 20th, which is why we figure both these teams are going to play some more soccer this year.
March on your mark, no turn.
There's David McGowan, the junior out of Fairfax, Virginia.
Good. No turn, no turn.
And Madison again looking to apply some pressure. And that cleared out of harm's way by Nelson Warley. And back comes the Tribe. Here comes Valencia again. Right in on goal and smothered by Barry Purcell.
Good run by the freshman. He's really having a good impact on the game and doing some real nice things to them.
And back to midfield, 1-0. William and Mary with the advantage. And I know the Tribe hasn't lost much this season, but 13-1-1 when they score first, which means they have scored first in most of their matches.
Quite a few of their games.
And as we said, they don't lose often with just the 2 setbacks, Hartwick and UNC Greensboro, the only teams to beat them. And they were early in the year. William and Mary has a 15-match unbeaten string. They've won 9 in a row coming into this one. And here's an opportunity for Barrett. Sliding after the ball and can't get there to save it.
And it'll be another corner kick for William and Mary. So good pressure. The game has kind of turned around. Good pressure from William and Mary now in the opening part of the game, as JMU did vice versa to William and Mary in the first half.
First time out.
But there's one big difference right now. William and Mary got a goal off of it.
Yep.
First time out.
This is the 6th corner kick for the Tribe. And let's see, they get number 7, won't they?
Another corner.
Yep.
Yeah, Barry Purcell got a hand on that and knocked it. Knocked it out of bounds.
And a change now for JMU as Kerry Antonsen comes into the contest. There you see number 18 out of Iceland. Back into the contest.
Might have been a defensive maneuver to help with the corners.
There's the corner kick in on goal and knocked out of there.
That was cleared by the defender off the line. What a dangerous ball these bending balls are. That actually was going in the goal mouth, and number 14 for JMU headed it off the line.
Yari Takatala, let's take another look.
Here's that corner just now. It goes up a little higher than the other ones. Goes to the back post. Yeah, definitely headed off the line. That was going to be in the back of the net.
Yep, sure was. So good play by the JMU senior out of Finland to clear it out of harm's way.
I think, William & Mary is doing a good job in their corners. If they can continue to get those, they're going to cause some problems. Those driven bending balls are very tough for a goalkeeper to read. And there's a lot of bodies in front of the goal there.
Now the throw in for JMU. And they really haven't gotten a shot yet this half on Aiden Brown. And we've played just about 15 minutes here in the second half.
No turn away.
The Dukes will try again, but can't do anything with it as back comes Nelson Warley for William and Mary. But his pass intended over there for Steve Jolley, a little bit too far for him. And here's an opportunity for the Dukes, and a shot just goes wide by Jake Edwards, who had those couple of opportunities in the first half, and there was another one.
Well, that was a good shot there. If it was on goal, it may have had the goalie beat on that. Good, low, hard-driven shot. Here's the replay on that. He comes up with the ball. And as you see, those are the kind of shots you want. Low driven like that. Goalkeeper's got to get down low, but for a big guy, Aiden Brown does a good job to get low.
Back to the action at midfield with William and Mary ahead by a count of 1-0. And again, Yari Takatala involved in the action for the Dukes.
Yeah, he's a battler. He doesn't give an inch to anybody.
First team All-CAA performer this season. It is second year for the Dukes. And at midfield, Josh Quinter with the header, but called for the foul.
Yeah, he seemed to go up straight, and William & Mary thought that the player went underneath him. Here's a replay of that. Yeah, he's on his back. That's a good call. It's one of those situations where it's hard to tell who really is playing the ball or not.
Jeff Honeyset there for James Madison. Duke's looking to set up their offensive attack. Edwards, who's had a couple of good shots on goal. Looking for an open man or a path to the net. Can't come up with it, and here comes Juan Hughes for the try.
Taken away by Michael Bada. Now William & Mary gets a chance to control things.
Valencia upfield. It stays 1-0 William & Mary. About 28 minutes to go here in the second half. Perfect day here in Wilmington. Warm conditions, about 60 degrees. We've talked about the breeze that has blown right to left. Seemed to aid James Madison a little bit. The purple and white in the first half, and now in the second half, the green and white of the Tribe with an opportunity. Jolley's header to the left of the goal.
Starting to find Steve Jolley in the box, and even though there's a player right on him, he seems to be winning all the air battles in there. Very impressed right now, Bob, with William & Mary. They're getting stronger as the game goes on. There's no question about it.
Number 12, John Rutland into the contest now. 5'10" sophomore from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Had a goal in the first game, the quarterfinal game against Old Dominion, the 5-0 victory for JMU. Back to Barry Purcell along that back line.
Again, you can.
And Mike Brizendine also back into the contest. He played some in that first half.
Offsides for JMU. Free kick for William & Mary. Again, I think Tom Martin's trying to get some fresh legs in there, rest some of those players. He probably is intending to bring those players back on before the end of the game.
Valencia again, still with it. And finally, Mark Miles comes up with it, but he loses it. Valencia certainly played well here in the second half. Off of the William & Mary bench. Splits the defenders. And has it cleared out of there. Boy, he did a nice job pretty much all by himself.
Did a very good job. And again, I think, somebody, a different type of player up there like Gabe Valencia just, throws, a little different than the other type of players in William & Mary, is a good change of pace, and it really upsets things.
Juan Hughes looking to make a move, couldn't do so along the end line, and a little bit exasperated, threw his arms up into the air.
Well, I think, he hasn't got much of the ball again this half, but, fortunately the team is playing well, so maybe it's not necessary. But JMU just has to hang in there, make sure William & Mary doesn't get another goal, and look for their opportunity and their break. There's really no reason for them to get too nervous yet.
Dan Zuckerfuss back into the game for the Tribe. So a few substitutions tactically made by both head coaches here with about 25 minutes to go in the second half.
That's a good move by Al Albert. He's putting one of the more experienced players. He's putting them in midfield. He started up front, Danny Zuckerfuss.
And the battle there, Jeff Dominguez of William & Mary and Kevin Knight of JMU.
No turn! No turn!
Savalainen to the left of the box for Brizendine.
Look double, go ahead.
And over the sideline as Brizendine raced after it for JMU.
Step.
The throw in looking for Juan Hughes, but over his head back to midfield. Hughes battles with Miles. Tribe leading 1-0, and right now play hanging in the midfield area.
Good, no turn.
And continues to do so as Brizendine can't make a move.
No turn. Step. Come on, where's our step?
And William & Mary clears again to midfield. JMU looking to mount an attack like it did in the first half, unable to do so far, particularly since that goal was scored. As you said, Sean, kind of changed the complexion of the way these teams are playing.
It really did, but two even teams, it'll go back and forth. I mean, JMU's starting to at least get it down in their attacking half more, but not really capitalizing on anything.
Stay with the four, watch the four.
Valencia to Dominguez in the middle of the field. On the near flank now.
Good overlap there by Dominguez.
As he battles with John Rutland. Rutland makes a good play.
And it'll be a goal kick. You know, there again, that's when you see there how William & Mary players, they're a tight team. They know each other well. They've been playing together for a while. It was a good combination play there between Zicafus and Dominguez.
And here come the Dukes back to midfield. Kyle Swords.
That's about a good decision.
And again, the Tribe just boots it back to the other side.
Well, JMU is trying to open it up with some long balls, and it's not a bad idea, but it's got to be with quality, and it's got to be with some intelligence. But this one's a little bit better. This is in the space, and now it's a tough ball to defend against.
That's all good.
Garrett Chittum battling down there with Mike Brizendine. Brizendine a little slow to get up.
Again, you know, just some bumping and pushing and shoving. It's, you know, natural for a game of this importance. But that was a good long ball by JMU. If they can hit those long balls into spaces like that and make it difficult for William & Mary to defend, they'll get something out of it.
They've got about 22.5 minutes here in the second half. 1-0 William & Mary. As the fouls continue to mount up, and they stay pretty much even. The 14 on JMU and the 12 on the Tribe.
Yeah, that's a good job by the referee. There was some confusion there, so he just blew the whistle and conferred with his linesman just to make sure that it was the proper throw and it was from the proper spot. It's experience from the officiating there.
Yeah, it will be right at midfield as Rutland throws it in.
Get it, honey, get it.
And the Dukes again in their offensive zone, but really can't mount much of an attack, and the whistle blows as Kevin Knight bumping with Dan Zicafus.
Yeah, JMU doesn't really need to foul grabbing from behind like that. They're good to put pressure on. They're down here. They just need to keep applying that pressure and wait for the break.
So now the kick for William & Mary. To the top of the box, Steve Jolley
again.
Juan Hughes waiting for it to come down, couldn't get it. Barrett takes the left-footed shot just wide to the right.
It's a good shot by Barrett. A volley, a difficult one. Struck it well, didn't put it on goal though. There again though, Steve Jolley, when they find him in the box, watch this. You know, when they find Steve Jolley in the box, they seem to get something off of that. Good first-time strike. That's what you want midfielders to do. When it's crowded there, you don't want them to really kind of control it, fool around with it. Get that shot off if you can.
So the Tribe with an opportunity as their stars, Jolley and Hughes, try to combine. And couldn't do so. Again, the only goal so far, Gabe Valencia, the freshman, his 5th goal of the year.
That's an important goal. That's maybe one of his more important goals of the year. I'm not sure that one goal will stand up, but it's all they have right now.
And that's our score in the Kellogg's CAA Men's Soccer Championship. Our commercial-free coverage brought to you at this point by Kellogg's.
Away, Woody!
Bob Black, Sean McDonald with you, and our HTS crew from Brooksfield at UNC Wilmington. And an opportunity with the kick by CP Savalainen. And over the end line with about 20 minutes to go. And again, the play is physical.
And this is, Bob, here's the replay on that. Thought there might have been a little shove there. There wasn't much, and the ball goes for a goal kick. But, you know, JMU has to do that. They have to get control of the game, get the ball in the box, you know, try to get the ball in the air so maybe some of their taller players can do. They did that in the first half, and they haven't done much of that in the second half, and they just did a series there.
Jolley with a couple of headers, and now Barrett on the right side for David McGowan in the corner. And he can't get it away. But again, the Tribe keeping the ball in the offensive attack zone.
Well, William & Mary is in control somewhat right now. I think they're feeling good about, but a one-goal lead is really not much. I think JMU's got enough dangerous players that can equalize that.
They have just under 20 minutes to do so.
William & Mary is starting to win the air battles in midfield, though, which didn't happen in the first half, and that's unusual because of the size difference. So I give them credit. They're doing a good job.
And really, this is unfolded for JMU, much like Friday night unfolded. Scoreless at halftime. Richmond gets a goal early in the second half, and it stays that way until about the 8-minute mark when it's finally tied by James Madison. So watch out at the 8-minute mark.
Watch out, yeah, and really, William & Mary's got to keep playing and try to get another goal because, you know, they can't rely on this one goal lead.
And we'll get a Tribe substitution as Nelson Warley, who was out for a breather, comes back in.
And they make a change. They'll put Danny Zikafus up top, number 14, and 17, Nelson Warley will go back at a wide midfield position.
And Gabe Valencia, the game's goal scorer.
But he gets a good hand, and rightfully so. He's really had a big impact on the game.
Absolutely.
Done a good job.
Yep. Sure has. Zikafus right at the midfield line, right at the scorer's table.
I think, Bob, too, when you have a good player like Juan Hughes, you know, you really do need somebody to complement him that can take the pressure off, and Valencia has done that. As you see, there's always two players on. They really respect Juan Hughes, and there's always two players at least on him.
And now a couple of more changes for JMU as Jake Edwards and Yari Takatala come back into the match.
Yeah, Tom Martin may be making his push here, you know, with about 17 minutes left. But another corner kick for William & Mary, who's been pretty effective on him.
Bending in towards the goal and to the far post. And another one on the far side now.
Well, you notice they sit Steve Jolley at the back post, who gets up in the air real well, and they either go near post or far post and just keep mixing it up.
See what they do this time from the far corner. Bending in on goal, and the header goal! William & Mary.
That corner kick they really got that down. They're doing a great job with it.
The man behind the shirted mask is Steve Jolley.
Yeah, the faceless man, number 10. I'll talk about an impact. He's had a tremendous impact as the game has worn on as well. His talents are starting to come through.
Boy, two pretty goals on corner kick headers.
But that's right where you want it. That's an impossible for the goalie to get just out of his reach, and very difficult for the defender to backpedal. But no one really went up at Steve Jolley, and that was the problem. Somebody's got to stay right with him and at least make life difficult for him.
9.9, I would say. If he hadn't put his shirt over his head, that would have been a 10.
Yeah, they can usually see through those shirts, too. Don't let them fool you.
But we can't see him. We wanted to see the big smile that was certainly painted on his face.
Well, the celebrations have generally, you know, after MLS and World Cup being here, the celebrations has become something that's been very creative, and people are trying to get their trademark to do different things.
We saw the William & Mary women with the dive to the CAA logo on their two goals, and the men have come up with their own signature. And William & Mary now a little more than 15 minutes away from sweeping both the men's and women's championships. Steve Jolley with his 8th goal of the season.
And there's Kyle Swords on Juan Hughes here, and it has been a good matchup. And Kyle Swords really has done a very credible job, especially this half, and keeping Juan Hughes somewhat quiet.
Now James Madison will really have to go on the attack. Nice play, Jeff Dominguez there. But they're 2 goals down, and time will begin to become a William & Mary ally with just over 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, now it's really a situation where if William & Mary defends well and keeps them, and they're still looking to push forward, though, which I kind of like that mentality. They're going to say, hey, let's win the ball and keep going at them. And it's a mental thing as well as, you know, if they do get another goal.
Savalainen down the right flank with a shot on goal, and Aiden Brown comes out to make the play.
He hasn't been too busy this half, Aiden Brown. That was, you know, did a good job to come up with that, and it was a good service by Silvio Savalainen. Here's the replay on that. Here, a bending ball away. It's a little too close to the keeper, though.
And Brown comes up with it.
And there's number 14 for JMU, Jerry
Takatala. The first team All-CAA standout. 2nd in scoring in the CAA this season. tied for second.
Plays with a lot of heart, and he really is very scrappy. He gets in there. He's not, you know, he's going to get goals different ways. Not just with skill. He's going to go in hard.
And JMU now really needs to find ways to get goals. Down 2-0. Here comes Jake Edwards on the right side. But good work by William and Mary's defense.
Good work. It looked dangerous there. Jake didn't really go to goal. He looked to try to play it off. But they really, you know, it's like anything else. I mean, I think they're a little frustrated now. They're not really getting their game down as well as they would like to. But, you know, they get that one break, they get that one shot, that one goal, and everything changes.
And then the second goal changes things even more.
And the second goal makes it a completely different game. But you can tell that there's a little concern in their faces, but they really have enough time, and they have to be confident, and they have to keep, you know, playing their game and relying on their players.
Michael Botta about to take the left-footed kick.
Again, looking for Steve Jolley in there.
That's David McGowan over there in the far reaches of the corner, and he can't hold on.
William & Mary's done a good job on their free kicks, whether they be corners, throw-ins, or, you know, just what Michael Botta took there. That was an excellent service. And, you know, really, when you think about it, they scored off a throw-in for the first goal and off a corner for the second goal.
Yep. Two outstanding headers for the goals. Valencia, early second half, and then Jolley a little more than midway through the second half. And now down to the final 13 minutes of regulation.
Let's have another one in the wall.
You know, William & Mary, a good team like William & Mary, they'll find different ways to beat you. And, you know, doing it off the set pieces and the free kicks and the corners, you know, that's one way to do it. And obviously with their good players and off the regulation, you know, side of play.
And we wait while we have some shoe repair over there on the far side. Wade Barrett will take the kick. Looked like David McGowan had the spikes ripped off his heel. And there's the kick coming in on goal, and it looked like Purcell was screened and never saw it coming because he reacted very late.
There's no question it surprised him, and that's, again, Wade Barrett, an intelligent player. He decided he was going to just lace one and take the chances with all the bodies in there. Here's the replay of it. And no one comes up with it cleanly from JMU, which is a problem. And fortunately,
boy, another dangerous chance.
Well, you can tell they're working that far post now. I mean, it was working well. They got a goal off of it, and JMU is still yet to quite adjust to that. But no, Wade Barrett, it was a good play on his part. One of his players screened it initially. See, and there again, you know, Barry Purcell goes up, but there's a lot of traffic there, and it's very difficult for him to go backwards like that and then play the ball out.
2-0 William & Mary in the CAA Men's Soccer Championship. And this could be the culmination, and really not the culmination with the NCAAs coming up, but really a high watermark for this William & Mary program, enjoying its best year in what has been a brilliant program anyway.
Yeah, and like you said, they lost some very good players last year, guys that for 4 years were their key players and their leaders. But, you know, that's a good credit to Al Albert as recruiting. And there, again, you know, William & Mary keeps attacking. They keep putting JMU under pressure, and the result of it is a foul. You know, the quickness and the ability to, as you see, JMU's got 5 people on the wall there, and you know, you're going to have to respect William & Mary in these free kicks. They've done a great job so far.
Let's see who handles this one. They've got Hughes and Barrett and Botta. It's Hughes bending it in on goal.
Yeah, a good idea to bend it around the wall like that. It wasn't exactly what Juan Hughes wanted. Went right towards Barry Purcell.
Watch the curve on the bend.
Yeah, good bend on the ball, but he's got to get that up in the corner where Barry Purcell's got to stretch for it to get a good chance.
William & Mary looking to repeat as CAA tournament champions, winning the tourney for the first time ever last season. And the 3 years before that was all James Madison. So it's been these two schools.
It's been these two schools the last few years, and it's been a good battle. I know this was a repeat of the championship game last year with these two teams.
Good, Lord.
You know, there's something about, like you said, they still both may get into NCAA play, but you know, there's something about winning this title that you know, when I was at Old Dominion as assistant coach, we won one year. It's a lot of pride. It's something you carry into the NCAA playoffs with you, and you know you've accomplished something if you win this tournament, because it's a good conference.
Keep working.
And even if Madison doesn't win, we do expect them to be in. It would be their 9th NCAA appearance, their 5th straight. They've been to the quarterfinals the last 2 years. Had a good run last year. Beat Princeton, lost to Duke.
Yeah, they have that playoff experience, which is very, very important. And so did Williams and Mary. They've been there before. It really helps. And clearing the ball away is Mark Miles.
Tribe looking to get back for the 4th time in the last 5 years. They had that great game with Creighton in the first round of the NCAAs last year.
Yeah, they really did. And then they pushed Wisconsin, the eventual winner, right to the brink of overtime.
Yep. And again, Jake Edwards thought he might have had an opportunity, but not so, as Garrett Chittum knocks it away.
They're trying to make something happen, and William & Mary continues to put pressure on, so they've got to look to get that counter and get a goal off of it.
Matt Fitzpatrick, a junior out of Springfield, Virginia, transfer from Seton Hall, comes into the match for JMU. Now under 10 minutes to go. The throw in by John Rutland towards the goal and back to the top of the box, and the shot over the net. And Al Albert will go back to his bench again as Gabe Valencia, the goal scorer with the first tally here in the second half, comes back into the contest, and Dan Zickenfuss goes out.
They've seen the platoon, those two players, and split them up. They're very different type of players. Danny quick, very technical. You know, Gabe a lot taller and also technical for his size. And he gets a little help from his hand there.
Yep. It's too bad, because I think he saw Juan Hughes out of the corner of his eye.
And that's a patented Juan Hughes, where he makes a good quick run in behind the defender, and William & Mary slips the ball in. And that's what he's relied on for 4 years and gotten a lot of goals off of.
And I think we're going to get a push on Savalainen as he went up for the header.
Yes, Tom, I'm sure Tom Martin's not real happy with what's going on right now, but, you know, one chance, one good shot by one of these JMU players, and boom, they're back in the game.
And there's the last
replay.
The last foul a moment ago.
Kind of minor compared to what's been going on out there, but he did have his hands on his back.
And here's where Madison has to make its run. Can the Dukes do so? Not this time.
It's just not going their way. I mean, they had a good opportunity there for him to push it by the defenders and get in, and it just, you know, that's the way the same things go in the second half here, where it's just not falling their way.
Jake Edwards, right of the box, looks to make a move to his left. Rutland on the sideline.
Give me two.
Dominguez chips up one of the JMU players.
Come on, Wall.
John Rutland. They got to make something happen here with these free kicks. They got to get their tall bodies in there and get on the end of it.
Exactly. You can feel the sense of urgency for JMU.
And that just fooled the goalkeeper right there. That was that could have snuck in.
Kevin Knight with the kick from the right side.
Yeah, he bent the ball probably the opposite way than the goalkeeper realized, and that would have fallen in the goal if it hadn't hit the crossbar. You know, but JMU's got to get on the end of that, though. They have to be there. Again, that play. And fortunately for William & Mary, you know, they're there to kind of knock it out of bounds.
And there was the first corner kick of the game for James Madison, and unable to get the ball where they want it in scoring position. On the near side, Brown comes out to cut down the angle, and William & Mary takes control. And a major disparity in your corner kicks. Here comes Valencia, the freshman, to the top of the box. Has Hughes on his right. Valencia rolls it in slowly on Barry Purcell.
Good run again there by the freshman. You know, he's very strong physically and difficult to get the ball away from, and he's got some speed and skill. It's a good combination right there.
6 minutes remaining. 2-0. William & Mary with the advantage on JMU. Beat him in the regular season 3-0. Looking to win the CAA title with a win here today. William and Mary could improve to 18-2-1. It would be the 3rd straight year of 18 wins, and of course they want to break that in the NCAA tournament. And again, the Dukes have to make something happen quickly. Jake Edwards on the left side. And Brown comes out to short hop it.
Good job. He hasn't been tested too much this half, but he's, staying with his concentration level. That's one thing you fear of a goalkeeper, to get a little complacent.
Yeah, here in the second half, he hasn't had much work.
Here's the ball played into the box, and he does a good job of coming straight out, taking the short hop, so to speak, and hanging on to it.
And one more time, here come the Dukes. But unable to get close to the net.
Yeah, unable to penetrate. They really, probably abandoned earlier. They just get the ball in the box.
Valencia on the sideline and over the sideline.
It looked like it. Mary thought it was inbounds, but referee called it out.
Now down to the last 4.5 minutes of regulation. Isham Gomes into the game for Madison out of Trinidad, the sophomore. Transfer from South Carolina, Spartanburg.
Yeah, he's got some good speed, and they're hoping to put him up top and get him through. Because right now it comes to a point with 4 minutes left, they really have to look to get the ball in their end, get the ball in the box, try to break somebody through and make something happen quickly.
Here comes an opportunity potentially, but now you can feel William and Mary just putting that defensive blanket up out in front of the box.
They need to get the ball in the box. The coach is saying, get the ball in the box. That's the only way, if the ball's not there, that's where you're going to score from, in front of the goal. And here it is.
There's a chance. Oh, look out. As Brown took quite a hit and staggers to get back up.
That was a very dangerous situation. They finally got in behind William and Mary's defense, maybe for the first time. And the replay of this, watch the collision between the goalkeeper and Honeysett.
Oh, like he got a knee right up into the chops.
Knee in the chest, and it's one of those situations where you can't fault Honeysett for going for it in an important game.
And then Brown goes up big. They're grabbing out of midair.
It's good. The freshman is, he's hung in there. That collision didn't affect him. Still got his wits about him, and he punched the ball down 3/4 of the field.
Yep. Yeah, that could have been the last gasp. Because they had an opportunity. Honeysett right on the doorstep.
Well, they had two in this half. The one that hit the crossbar that fooled the goalkeeper on the free kick from the corner. And that one right there could have easily been the equalizer, but that's the way the game goes.
2:30 to go.
It's not over yet.
Nope. Madison putting on all sorts of pressure. Here comes the kick from Rutland.
Well, the dangerous play there. He was on the ground protecting the ball. It's actually dangerous for the William & Mary player, Dominguez.
Centering with the kick. And William and Mary clears. Here comes Valencia.
Yep. Should be interesting.
Down the right side. Has Barrett in the middle. There's
Good
Barrett.
Pass.
There's the shot wide.
Good pass. Good job by the freshman again. It's interesting. Physically, he's as strong as any of the JMU players, and he's got, as much speed. So look at this run on the flank here. He pushes it by the player. This is he looks up here, puts the ball right into Wade Barrett, who has a tough time getting a shot with a guy on his back, but does a good job to try anyway.
Now 1.5 minutes remaining, and the William and Mary contingent starting to sense their second straight CAA men's soccer title.
Good job, William Mary wins the ball in there.
And Wade Barrett just kicks it to midfield.
Now for William Mary, keep numbers back, keep winning the ball, just keep destroying their play. And JMU is going to keep trying to pump it in the box and get the ball in a goal scoring position.
Now they've done a good job of keeping it this far in the offensive zone, but they really, aside from those 2 chances, haven't gotten it any closer.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes at least, they really put the pressure on and kept the ball in the box, but they haven't had a great second half.
Barry Purcell all the way almost to midfield to kick it back into the offensive zone in the final minute. William and Mary on its way to its 10th straight win and its 2nd straight CAA soccer tournament title. The 5th-ranked Tribe heading into the NCAA tournament with some momentum. And Brown will pretty much wrap it up with 20 seconds to go. Al Albert and the Tribe of William and Mary about to capture the CAA tournament championship.
Coaches are shaking hands. Tom Martin is just going to get ready for postseason play, as is William and Mary. And Gabe Valencia almost gets another shot on goal with a few seconds left.
The Tribe of William and Mary, your 1996 CAA men's soccer champions, 2-0 over James Madison in today's championship final. They wave that flag proudly in Williamsburg. Back-to-back tournament titles for the Tribe. Goal scorers, the first one, Gabe Valencia, the freshman, and then the veteran, the senior, Steve Jolley, with the 2nd goal of the game. And once again, another shutout for William and Mary. Boy, they've been something the past 2 years in the CAA tournament. 6 matches, 1 goal, and 2 championships.
Yeah, they just seem to get stronger and stronger as the game went on and really kind of exploit different things. So my hat's off to Al Albert and his group and his team. Excellent season and a very good championship game for them.
We figure James Madison will have some more soccer as well, despite this loss here today. Both these teams amongst the nation's best and heading to the NCAA tournament. But for now, William and Mary, the CAA men's soccer champions, 2-0 over JMU. Will be back.
It doesn't come back.
Welcome back to Brooks Field at UNC Wilmington, where William and Mary has defeated James Madison 2-0 to win the 1996 Kellogg's Men's Soccer Championship. That was goal number 1 from the freshman Gabe Valencia. This is goal number 2 from the senior Steve Jolley. They are jumping for joy in Williamsburg. William and Mary 2-0 winners over JMU. Welcome back, everyone. We are joined by the 2 heroes of the William and Mary Tribe, head coach Al Albert and Steve Jolley. You saw the goal a moment ago. We'll ask him about that flip and all that other stuff in just a moment. Let's get to the serious stuff first. Al, congratulations on the victory after dominating the regular season so much. How gratifying is it to come in here and do what you had to do in 3 straight games?
Well, it was. We said this morning we wanted to be 11-0, not 8-0 in the CAA. It's just a fitting end to a great season in the league, and now hope we can go on and represent the league in the postseason.
Talk about the first goal from Gabe. We talk a lot about this young man and Juan Hughes, and then there's a guy that maybe doesn't get quite the attention of those guys that gives you the spark early in the second half.
Sure. I mean, it's always great when the guy who's in the lineup as a sub scores the winning goal, and Gabe came on and did a great job. Nobody expected him to, to be the difference. He was in there to, try to get us going, and he scored the goal.
Sean, I know you've been watching Coach Albert's teams for quite some time.
Well, I was very impressed, Al, and maybe make some comments on your corner kicks and your free kicks. I mean, they were dangerous almost every time you did it, and JMU really didn't seem to ever adjust to it. What can you say about that?
Well, about 4 or 5 games into the season, we felt that we needed to jazz up our corners, and we started driving the ball in and in swinging it, and same thing on the angled free kicks, which Wade and Nelson Worley took, and I mean, they were tremendous. Jolley here won every ball in the air that was hit to him, so it's not hard to dominate set pieces when you have ball servers like that and somebody that can head the ball every time.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Al. I mean, it obviously executed well, but when you have those players that can do those things, it makes all the difference in the world, like Steve Jolley.
Absolutely.
All right, Steve Jolley, let's talk to you a little bit, our Kellogg's CAA player of the game. First of all, how physical was it out there today? It seemed like it was their physical play against maybe your technical play and your guys' quickness and speed.
Yeah, more than anything, it's hard to articulate, the feelings and emotions I have for this team right now. Most of the time, defense gets overshadowed by our offense. Juan and Wade and I get all the press, but there's 4 defensive backs that basically shut out this, the entire league. And it's a credible feat, and they should be, be rewarded just the same.
I think at one point I described you as having a tough day at the office. It seemed like you were getting banged and bruised everywhere all over the field.
Well, it was expected whenever we play JMU. I mean, it's a heated battle, one of the biggest rivalries in the country, I think, and it basically proves that, I personally feel that CAA is the best conference in the country right now. I think the records prove it as well.
Real quick, that second goal obviously was the one that put you at arm's length from them, and you got a little excited about that. Where did the flip and the hiding the head come from?
Who knows? Who knows? The flip, just excitement, and like what I said earlier, the shirt. Maybe I'm so ugly. I didn't want the TV to see me real close up.
Well, it's a pretty picture right now as the Tribe is the CAA men's soccer champions. Steve Jolley, our Kellogg CAA player of the game. Al Albert, congratulations on your Coach of the Year honor. And now CAA champions as William and Mary takes the automatic berth to the NCAA tournament with the 2-0 victory today over James Madison. In our championship game, the masked wonder Steve Jolley with goal number 2 to put the game away for William and Mary.